Hello, welcome to the recording for week 7. The reading this week is chapter 11. The discussion, the initial post is due Wednesday and 2 replies are due by Sunday. You're to analyze exactly what happens when you click on a hyperlink and how they are used to jump to a specific cell or range within an active worksheet, another worksheet, or another workbook. Give an example of when you would use a hyperlink. Do not forget at least one required APA reference within the in-text citation and at least 100 words in the initial post. The week 7 assignment is due Sunday. It's chapter 11, lab 1, merging workbooks. But before you begin this assignment, you will need to make a new copy of all the chapter 11 files. So go back to week 1. Go down to where the files are, the zip file, download the zip file, and then make a copy of chapter 11. You see I put chapter 11 on my desktop. Whoops. And I'm going to open the lab assistant so I can show you how to do the rest. If you don't copy all the files new, you'll get an error when you try. Also, if you make a mistake and you didn't do something right, you can't go back. You have to start over. Delete all your files and get a new copy. And let me minimize that so you can see. Now the quick launch toolbar is up here, and it does say that if it's necessary to add the compare and merge. I've already added to mine, but I'll show you how to do it. You go to options, quick launch, then you're going to have to go to all commands because that's not one of the common ones. Then you're going to scroll down there in alphabetical order. And you're going to go down to compare. Compare and merge workbooks, and then you're going to click add. And then it'll add it over here, as you see here. Also, if you're using 2016, you will need to add track changes. So you're going to go to File Options, and this time you're going to go Customize Ribbon. And then I'll go to the ribbon and I'll reset it because I already made that change. Oops. And you'll see that it doesn't have any changes. So we need to add a new group. So we'll call the new group, right click and rename. Excuse me, we'll call it changes. And then you're going to highlight changes. You're going to go back to all commands, and then you're going to go down to the T's to track changes. Now this is a legacy. It's no longer used in 2016. That's why it's called legacy. So then you're going to add it, and you'll see that it added it to the legacy. Hold on a minute. Sorry about that. Alright, so if you look at the review tab, you'll see that track changes has been added to this group. And I'll show you what it looks like if you're using 2016 in a minute. And that's adding those things to the workbook. So once you've opened the lab assistance file, you're going to save it. File save as, and you're going to add complete to the end. Sorry about that, I keep coughing. Okay, then once you have that open, you're going to click on the compare and merge, and you're going to go back in there and you're going to merge these three assistants. Robert. And then you do it again, and if you notice when you add each one, it changes information. And Olivia and Emery's. Now it wants us to track changes. So we go to the track changes and we do the accept or reject. Now, if you see, this is how 2013 looks. It always has the track changes, and when you click on that arrow, you get the same highlight changes or accept and reject changes. And then once you do that, it opens a little box. You're going to uncheck who and uncheck when and check who. And then it will highlight each cell and tell you who made changes. And you're going to go back to the assignment and you're going to look at see which ones you accept. And it's going to say for certain cells you're going to accept one or the other. And then you accept all of the changes at the end. So once you go through everything, for instance, excuse me, on the first one, there are all kinds of changes. They've all made 1025, and if you're not sure, then you can go back to the picture, which I made larger here for you to see, and you can see what, like in cell A6 or A5, what would be left. And you go through each one until you've gone through all of them. Okay? And then once you've done that, let's see what it said to do over here. Turn off sharing so that the workbook is exclusive. And to turn off sharing, it's on the review tab, and it's just unshare. Now in 2013 it doesn't quite look like that. It only has a sharing tab, and you would uncheck it, and that's how you turn off sharing. And then you're going to add a comment to A3, which is the campus cell, and to do that, on the review tab you add new comment, and you'll see that it adds your name, and then just put your birthday. You don't have to put the year. And you'll see that when you click off of that, it's just a little dot, but if you hover over it, then it shows the comment. And that's how you make comments, and that's also how you make comments in other Office products. It's on the review tab. Okay, you're going to save this workbook. Before you submit it, though, make sure you answer the last question. What do you see as the disadvantages of comparing and merging compared with just using comments? So, for instance, if we use comments, then instead of making any changes, we just add a comment and say, I want to change this to 925 because, and so since we have other people working on it, there would be several comments, and then you could go through and decide which comments, which changes you want to accept. And so you can just decide which do you think is better, and answer that anywhere on the sheet, and then save it and submit it. Now the final project is 2 parts. It's due on Sunday. It's Chapter 11, Lab 2, Merging Sales Data and Working with Charts and Backgrounds. And you need to do both parts to get full credit. So, let's close this one. And let's open Jones Motorcycle Rentals. And then we're going to again use the merge and compare. Before we do that, we save it as complete. And this is for part 1. And then we're going to merge, so we go back to the merge and compare, and we add sector 2, and then we add sector 3, and I don't know if you noticed that it added tables here, and it changed the data over here. And then you're going to go, remember to unshare the document. Okay, and turn off sharing. And then we're going to enhance the chart by adding an appropriate chart title and additional formatting, such as a shadow. So to change the chart name, you just click in there and add a chart name. Then to make a shadow, say for the plot area, you click on the plot area. You right click and say format plot area, and that comes up. Now to do a fill, it's the little bucket. You would change the color. Let's say we're going to go with a dark gray. And to do the shadow, you have to go with effects. So let's go to shadow, and then we're going to pick a shadow. Let's pick a shadow like that. Or you could pick a shadow that causes a raised edge, whatever you want. And you can also change the shadow's color. Maybe we want it dark black. And you see that there's a little bit of a shadow and kind of a raised edge. So you can play around with those and see offset to the right, offset button, you know, try any of those that you like, see what you like about them. And that's how you do the shadow. Now also you can change some things about your tables. Once we add a background, you might need to change some of those things. So the next thing we're going to do is add a background. And to do that, you're going to go to page layout, click on the background, and you're going to search for motorcycles. In Office.com clip art. And then you can look at the pictures that it finds for you, and you can change one. You can choose one. Like this one. So we'll insert it, and you see how it puts it as a background. Now you might want to change some things so they're better visible, more visible. You can put a fill, and to do that, just right click it and format the cells and go to fill, and let's put a dark fill on it. Whatever you want. Now if we did dark fill here, it would cover up the picture pretty much, so it really depends on what picture you chose, what you're gonna do with your picture, with your tables. And then once you do that, you're going to add a comment to A11. Now I noticed that in order to do that, for it to be seen, you need to move your table down. Remember to go to review, add comment, and put the your hometown. So that's my hometown. That's not where I live now, but and again you see it's a little dot. And then you're to answer the you're to save this document, but don't submit it yet because you need to do part 2. So in order to do part 2, we're going to save it. We're going to go File, Save As, Current Folder, but we're going to change the type. We're going to change it to Excel 97 to 203. And when we do, and we're going to add 2003 to that because you don't want to erase your original file. And click Save, and you'll get a compatibility check. Copy this to the new sheet. That way I can see your compatibility. And there you have your assignment. It asks you to say what formatting changes did you make to the worksheet to accommodate the image you did use as a background. So the image that you inserted, the motorcycle image, what did you do to change your tables to accommodate? For instance, I made this darker, but I didn't change any of these because it would obliterate my picture. So you might feel that you should move them over some, whatever. And you answer that question anywhere on this particular worksheet and save it. So instead of continuing, copy it to a new sheet. That way I can just see that you saw the compatibility form. Now there is a discussion in week 8. I just want to remind you that there is a discussion. It's not due till Tuesday, but please don't post to it until Monday. That way you get participation for week 8. No replies are required. No APA reference is required, but you are required to have 150 words in your initial response. If you want to do replies, you may, but they are not required for the grade. That's all I have for this time. If you have any questions, please let me know.